Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hey,
Dad, how you doing?
good.
We're back for another week of conversation, another week of discussion with father and son.
Yes.
So you feeling good?
Yeah. There's a lot of excitement going on in the world.
Yeah.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah, that's for better or for worse.
Yeah.
That is the case.
Yeah.
And so we have this deadline looming with regards to Afghanistan, and the way that things have gone as far as the departure is not the best.
Right.
Obviously, it's not ideal, but it is what it is. It's with regards to Biden.
Right.
We were talking
Right.
off camera. You said
Right.
that this is the
Right.
best he can be doing based on the circumstances.
Yeah. I mean, this is a 20-year war. For 20 years they've been fighting, and he had the courage to say, "No more. We got to go. Everybody else was kicking it down. They kicking it down the road.
Right.
It, let the next guy deal with it. Let the next guy deal with it. And so, no matter when they came out, it was going to be chaotic. They did it 5 years ago when people found out that American soldiers are leaving. It's almost, I don't want to say that, but it's frightening. They're scared to death. Because that's the backup. My backup is leaving. That's like the police is leaving. We ain't got no more police here. We the police. They gave us the guns, and now you mean my Uncle Henry is the police, and I got to depend on him. No. So it's frightening.
But the thing is that they knew this day was coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They knew this day was coming, and eventually that we would get to this point. So I just don't understand why it's so much fear on their part.
On the Afghan,
yeah,
please.
I mean, we gave you the best. You got the best weapons. Okay, yeah. So it's the Taliban, but I mean, we gave you the best weapons.
And they said, wait a minute, best weapons, but the Taliban beat you to a standoff. I mean, if you couldn't do it, what makes you think we can do it? My uncle Muhammad can do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they don't even have the drive, and they don't know anything about the democracy. You know what I mean? And so they don't. It was going to fall anyway. It was going to fall, and the Taliban knew it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
I said, we'll wait you out.
So
they did.
Yeah, and then it's with regards to America, the motivation for these Afghans is not there, because after you leave America, after you all leave, then we have to deal with the Taliban ourselves.
Who's my cousin?
And who's more motivated?
Right.
They're more motivated.
Right. Exactly.
Because everybody has a different perspective. Whether some of the Afghan community and citizenship looks at the Taliban as patriots, or whether they look at them as terrorists. I think if they look at them as terrorists, they're probably leaving with the Americans.
Right. And then too, the Taliban says to the ones who are going to try to stand up for America, what do you know about America? What are you fighting for? What are you talking about? And they can't articulate it. Well, we want to vote. You know what I mean?
Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. America. It wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work. And then they look at the news about what's going on in America. And they said they in chaos. They're not even organized. I mean, they fighting themselves amongst themselves. They would say, the blacks and whites, that country is in chaos.
Yeah.
That's what Russia says that to them all the time. How you gonna talk to me about democracy and freedom? Look what you did to that man. That's what they do.
Well, I mean, you got a point there. You got a point there. So the president addressed the nation yesterday on this subject, and here's what he had to say.
Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, announced it has fully concluded bills. But let me now turn to Afghanistan. I've met this morning with my counterparts in the G7, as well as heads of the United Nations, NATO, and the European Union. I express my thanks for the solidarity we have seen as we've stood up an unprecedented global effort. I updated our partners on the significant progress we made in the past 10 days. As of this afternoon, we've helped evacuate 70,700 people just since August the 14th, 75,900 people since the end of July. Just in the past 12 hours, another 19 U.S. military flights, 18 C-17s and 1 C-130 carrying approximately 6,400 evacuees, and 31 coalition flights carrying 5,600 people have left Kabul just in the last 12 hours. A total of 50 more flights, 12,000 more people since I updated you this morning. These numbers are a testament to the efforts of our brave service women and men, to our diplomats on the ground in Kabul, and to our allies still standing with us. And we had a productive discussion. There was strong agreement among the leaders about the evacuation mission underway, as well as the need to coordinate our approach to Afghanistan as we move forward. First, on evacuation, we agreed that we will continue to our close cooperation to get people out as efficiently and safely as possible. We are currently on a pace to finish by August the 31st. The sooner we can finish, the better. Each day of operations brings added risk to our troops, but the completion by August 31st depends upon the Taliban continuing to cooperate and allow access to the airport for those who we're transporting out, and no disruptions to our operation.
Yeah, so he is under an immense amount of pressure to get this done.
Right.
And I hope that it works out and we get everybody that they're trying to get out of there out in enough time. I'm not with the mindset of people that are saying leave a force, leave some soldiers behind or anything like that. I just think that we need to get out of that country and let it be what it's going to be. And if we have another situation where a country is harboring some people that did some things, then we deal with that. But we don't just need to stay here indefinitely. Right.
I mean, because they went in there in the words of Rumsfeld, they went in there to get Al Qaeda, you know what I mean? Right. And so they supposedly got rid of Al Qaeda, and so the Taliban, it was their country anyway.
Right.
And so go for it. The only problem that I see coming to the U.S. is that as far as the African American people, they look and then they see that when they get here, the refugees, or however you want to describe them, they're going to make it very easy for them, give them some money, and we were here for 400 years. We never got one nickel for our labor and our efforts and the torment that we went through.
Right.
And you keep seeing all these things happen for other people, and it creates problems.
It naturally creates frustration, and it compounds the plight of our people, and it just angers people.
Yeah,
because it could easily have been addressed.
Yeah, and it should have been
addressed.
But here again, kicking it down the road, kicking the can down the road, and
continue to do that. Eventually,
chickens come home to roost.
Comes home to roost. So there was a approval by the FDA for the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, and there is a push to get that done. And surprisingly, one of the people trying to push it, if you want to say that, one of the people trying to push it, somebody who I would not expect to be pushing it, and that is former President Trump. Let's take a look at him.
What? I believe totally in your freedoms. I do. You got to do what you have to do. But I recommend take the vaccines. I did it. It's good. Take the vaccines. But No, that's okay. That's all right. You got your freedoms, but I happen to take the vaccine. If it doesn't work, you'll be the first to know, okay? I'll call up Alabama and say, hey, you know what? But it is working. But you do have your freedoms. You have to maintain that. You have to maintain that. And you got to get your kids back to school.
So that was former president, and he was in Alabama over the weekend at this rally. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, hey, you know it's something when the Alabamans boo President Trump, and then Alex Jones called him what a dumbass.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah.
And not too long ago, he was singing the praises of Trump.
Oh yeah.
He was one of the people that was at the January 6th.
He was there.
He was at the rally that they had before.
Platform.
He wasn't
Okay.
at the Capitol.
Right.
But yeah. So funny how things can turn around.
Yeah. Because he's not going to have the momentum and the support that people think in 2024. I mean, he's not going to be there.
He's not going. He's not going to. He's going to be doing something else,
right?
As he should, because. But I guess the sad part about it is that there's still not going to be any accountability for anything that he's done. When you talk about people, a lot of black politicians have to deal with so-called accountability for so-called bad actions. But it just
I get frustrated every time I think about it. I mean, I think about here in Baltimore. I mean, they kicked the mayor out because of gift cards. They put another one in jail because she wrote books. I mean, when I think about it, I get frustrated. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And this guy has done every and anything you can think of. He's done it and gotten away with it.
Yeah. And then when you look at New York having Governor Hochul, First Lady coming in after Cuomo, like you said, and she released some numbers today, late last night. There was like 12,000 deaths, COVID-related deaths that Cuomo's administration did not report, and I guess deaths that were suppressed, and just dumping more on his legacy. When I heard her speak prior to her getting sworn in, it didn't seem like they got along too well.
She said, I heard her say they weren't friends.
Yeah.
She said,
it did seem like it.
Yeah. She said, I didn't go anywhere with him. I don't know what he did because I wasn't with him.
Right.
So she made it quite apparent and quite clear that they were not friends, and she did not approve of him. And that's just what it is. As far as Baltimore, I know this is not on the docket, but as far as the city, the uptick in homicides, a lot of cities are facing the uptick in homicides. Yeah. But as far as Baltimore, this is, I mean, even if you go back to the 70s, this has just been one of those towns where, you've had, some of these things occurring. And what does it stem from? Is there anything that we can really point to? Well, I can't prove it, but my gut tells me that the same people who went into that Capitol, you got to look at these people from some of this uptick. We always had some violence, but just yesterday, I think a little boy was shot in his house in Baltimore, and they said it was a van stopped and some people were on the corners or somewhere and near the house, and the van shot and so happened to go through the door and kill that boy. I mean, random things like that just don't happen. You know what I mean? And I remember before that it was another white van. They said that the kids were on the corner and the white van came and shot and then drove off. And don't nobody find these vans. I understand drug territory. I understand disrespect. I understand all that, but this is different. What's going on around this country is not what it's different, and this is and even police officers. You heard about gangs of police officers in Los Angeles got
Right.
their gang. That's not, and it's not just limited to them. It's all over. And no, this is not normal, and something going on, and it's the same thing that has always been going on. It's the fear and the racism and it's retaliation, and we're going to find out eventually
What's
really going on.
Yeah. Just tuning in, it's father and son news, and we do this every Wednesday here on radioonfire.com, and of course on demand, radioonfire.com, on all social media as well. And so I definitely wanted to talk about some Black folks, historical or otherwise, that have just accomplished things and have done things, and we just need to have some type of a conversation about them. And someone that is recently in the news, even though she's been passed on since the 70s, is Josephine Baker.
Right.
And Ms. Baker is going to become the first Black woman to enter into France's Pantheon. So from what you have learned and heard and seen, what are your thoughts on Miss Baker?
Miss Baker was fabulous because she had that, what is it called, that oomph, that
Je ne sais quoi.
yes, and she what really brought it out too is that when she went to France and she was able to be accepted as a woman, as a person, for the first time, that you don't know what that does to you. I can say it because I've experienced it when I've traveled.
What do you mean?
People treat you like a human, and you don't even realize, as I always said before, in America, how disrespected we are because we've been so disrespected. We don't even know what respect is until you leave the country. Then you say, wow. It. People say, "Good morning, sir. How are you?" They recognize you and they give you your respect, and that's why so many back in the 50s and the 40s entertainers flocked to Paris. James Baldwin and all of them. They stayed for years and years. But getting back to Sister Baker, she was she wasn't the prettiest girl. Okay, she'll tell you she was not the prettiest girl when they used to do the chorus lines, and she said that I had to do something to stand out because them girls was good and they were pretty, what I mean? And so, but she was silly and she could dance good, and she just had it, and people said, who was that girl on the end, and so she that's how she got her recognition, because she was able to know that I got to stand out amongst these pretty girls. What can I do? And she did. And then in Paris, they loved her because of course we already know how a Black woman's body looks. So we got those bodies, and she would dance over there with bananas over breasts. She was the queen. She was the queen.
Yeah.
She's the queen. But she also knew that one thing you got to have is that courage. Not being scared, not showing you're scared. You got to go for it, and then the people will see, wow, because they know I would be. How she do that? What I mean? How she have enough courage to do that? And but that's what it takes.
Yeah. And so the remains of the singer and a dancer, an activist, Josephine Baker, she's going to be honored at this Pantheon monument, which is in Paris, France. And so she was someone that performed for the troops. World War II,
right.
And she's going to be the first Black woman to get this honor of this.
Right.
This is the highest honor in that country.
Right, And I didn't know until recently that she spoke at the march in '63 with there's only a few women that spoke at the March on Washington, and she said that what got her is that she has been in the presence of kings and queens and presidents around this world. And for these people to have the audacity to refuse to let me come to a restaurant, she said, I was mad as hell about in America, and yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
That's that disrespect they're talking about. It's horrible.
Right.
Yeah. So I get mad when I think about it.
Right. Yeah. And it's something to get mad about.
And what really gets me mad is when I think about those people going into the Capitol, they think they're better than me. Okay. They think they're better than my son. Those people, please. No. All right. So that's.
Yeah. No. And they're not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. So Miss Baker passed away in 1975.
Yep.
And buried
Josephine
in Monaco, dressed in a French military uniform.
Yeah.
With medals and all of that.
Yeah. And then we can't forget that she adopted 12 kids of all nationalities, white, black, all nationalities. She raised them by herself. You know what I mean? She's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal woman. We've had some, we're some great people.
Absolutely.
We have gone through what we've gone through.
Absolutely.
Without any backup or support.
Absolutely.
So
I definitely wanted us to take a moment to talk about the late great Josephine Baker. And before we go, people always ask me about what you do, how you stay so healthy, how do you look the way you look, a guy in his 60s like yourself, you're in the 60s, 50s.
70s. Yeah. But you know what? I told my kids when I was maybe 30s and 40s that I said when I get to 70s and 80s, your friends are gonna say, how old is your father? Because but no, I looked at life like this, that just as people prepare for their retirement package at work for their 401k, and saving money and preparing for retirement, I think we got to do the same thing as far as your health. You got to, prepare for. Everybody's seen their grandfather, great uncle when they get older and they can't move as well. But if you jump on it and start to prepare early and to continue to build muscle, you can slow down the effects of the aging process. And I found that out in Africa and in China. Little techniques that I learned 35, 40 years ago in both of those countries and both of those continents. And they were teaching the same thing and they were thousands of miles apart. So it was natural. So little things. And so, yeah. So they need to go to dsbabyboomers.com, dsbabyboomers.com, and see what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they can see your videos and your words of wisdom and the encouragement that you give and motivation, not just to baby boomers, but all ages.
And you kept telling me, since I'm a baby boomer, I just started talking to the baby boomers, and my son said, Dad, all of us need to hear what we all need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I saw an interesting comment from a viewer of you. Trump in prison, the best is yet to come. I don't know if that's gonna happen. It would be interesting to see, but I don't know if it's gonna work out just like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on record and say I don't think so.
Yeah,
and if it did, his people they'll storm that prison. And they'll storm the prison and get him out.
And get him out.
Yeah. They won't hang him like they used to do the slaves. They storm the prison. That was all the time. They storm prisons and took out a black person and hung him. They'll storm and let him
And this
go.
is just an accused person, not necessarily a guilty person.
Yeah.
Just an accused person.
Yes, and then let me say something real quick before we go.
Sure.
About the Capitol. I just heard today that they're saying that they're going to drop some of the charges on some of these people going to the Capitol because they said they got video of the police officers opening up the gate and letting them in and hugging them and shaking their hands. So that means that to me, they all need to be arrested. The policemen too. You know what I mean? So they're thinking that they should be set free because the police let them come in. So
They're just giving them any excuse.
Any excuse because that's their brother. You know, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back. As you said, never a dull moment. We'll be back next week.
No.
Wednesday, 6 p.m. And of course, on demand on all of our social outlets and as well as radioonfire.com.
Radio on Fire.
Thanks, Dad.
Yes.